What's going on, everybody? Welcome. And something is bothering me now. During the whole Nipsey Hussle, who said Russell? Nah. During Nipsey Hussle's murder, they have since found the alleged assailant, Eric Holder. They now have him in custody, and he's awaiting trial. Right now, he has legal representation, which is fine. That's his right. As a U.S. citizen, you have right to legal representation. My issue isn't that he has legal representation. I find it very odd about who is representing him. For those who don't know, the attorney who's representing him is Chris Darden. For those who don't know who Chris Darden is, a while ago, long time ago, the famous or infamous O.J. Simpson trial, the trial of the century, as it was called, where he had a dream team. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. Johnny Cochran and all that stuff. Chris Darden was on the dream team. He was one of the lawyers on the dream team. He is representing Eric Holder. Some things I found weird about this. One, it is said that Eric Holder, Chris Darden, is representing Eric Holder pro bono, meaning Chris Darden is doing this for free. Well, also mean that Eric Holder don't have to pay. He's doing it for free. My question is, I want to know who paid Chris Darden's retainer to represent Eric Holder. I find that weird because the narrative that's going on around with this particular story is that this is just gang violence, regular street gang violence, right? Just some regular random shooting. Okay, that happens. Well, why is it that on this particular gang related violence, quotes, that Chris Darden is here? There have been plenty of gang violence going on for many, many years that Chris Darden was never a part of. I want to know why all of a sudden he's representing Eric Holder, the alleged murderer. I say alleged because it has to, you got to go through trial to be proven. So you say alleged, but it's a lot of things that just bother me. One, where's the getaway driver? Because we were told that there was a getaway driver, a woman. Well, she drove Eric Holder somewhere after he alleged murdered Nipsey Hussle, but she was not arrested. She's not detained. She drove Eric Holder, the alleged murderer, somewhere after the incident happened, but she's not detained. She said she didn't know, and that was enough to just let her go. Someone commits a crime, whether you know they committed a crime or not. You drive them somewhere. You get pulled over. The person that you're driving gets arrested, but all you have to say is, "I didn't know," and they let you go. That's a strike one for me. That don't sound right to me. Back to the Chris Darden thing. Why did Chris Darden all of a sudden decide to pick this particular case to represent? and do a pro bono? Because I'm pretty sure someone, an attorney of his stature, of Chris Darden's stature, don't just do pro bonos out the kindness of their heart. I'm pretty sure he ain't just doing pro bonos willy nilly. I know this has something to do with the fact that it's Nipsey Hussle, which makes it a high profile case. But you're representing the alleged assailant in this high profile case. Who paid you, Chris Darden? I was gonna get right to it. Who paid Chris Darden, their retainer, to do this pro bono? Who's backing this? Because this is just some mess. First of all, the bail for Eric Holder is $5 million. The bail for Eric Holder is $5 million. Chances are Eric Holder does not have $5 million, not even 10%, which is what you had to pay off for bail, at least 10% of that. So I'm guessing he doesn't have 10% of the money needed to make the bail of $5 million. So if he doesn't have that money, how in the world did Eric Holder find himself being represented by attorney Chris Darden? How did that happen? Because in order to to get someone like that, you need some bread. Because he's known for representing O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson had bread. This was the trial of the century. This was a lot of money into this. How were you able to be represented by someone of that caliber, and you yourself most likely don't have the money to make the bail? If you did, you would have done it already. If Eric Holder had the money to make at least 10% of the bail of $5 million, he'd have been done it, and he'd have been out. But I'm assuming he don't. That's why he's there. He's been represented by an attorney of that caliber, and the attorney of that caliber is doing a pro bono, and he's representing the person who was alleged in killing Nipsey Hussle, and you still don't have the person who drove Eric Holder. So let me get it straight. The driver of Eric Holder is not detained. She is chilling somewhere, so they say. Eric Holder, 9 times out of 10, does not have the money to have someone like Chris Darden to represent him. Yet Chris Darden is representing Eric Holder. Who is backing this? Someone with some money, or some entity, some person, some entity got the money to pay Chris Darden's retainer in order for him to say, okay, I'll do this pro bono. I'll do this. I'll do you a solid. I'll do you a solid one. I'll do this for free because you paid my retainer to represent Eric Holder. If that don't sound like some straight up and down BS to me, I don't know what does. Like come on, man. I know nobody wants to say the whole conspiracy thing, but this is just like some. None of the facts add up. None of it adds up. The driver, at least the driver ain't detained. I mean, if Eric Holder's trying to get away from the scene, you drive him from the scene. That makes you a getaway driver. That's where the term comes from. Eric Holder's trying to get away from the scene. You drive him somewhere away from the scene. You are a getaway driver. Whether you know it or not, you are an accomplice. Eric Holder made the woman an accomplice. Yet she's not detained. Aaron Cole don't have $5 million to bail himself out, which means he probably got enough money to pay the retainer for Chris Darden. So how's Chris Darden representing him? It's crazy. The math don't add up. The math don't add up. Peace.